Shabbat Shalom, Yeshabala. First and foremost, I give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rucha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to those Le'akim that's preach the word in all truth and sincerity. Alone shit is like foreigner brothers that are like the heathens, but the line of Philistine goes back to the nation of Israel, which nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is brother Yakal, a Mopper lesson, and today's lesson will be entitled, Whosoever exalted himself shall be made abased. I'm just going to go on some precepts, and Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shimon Shai, And I'll just read the book of 3rd John, the epistle or the epistle of 3rd John, which this epistle was written by Apostle John, which was the beloved disciple of our Lord Yahweh Shai, the same John that wrote the book of Revelations, John, the son of Zebedee, and I was just reading 3rd John 1 and 9, and this is just reminding me of, we got to be humble in this thing, man. There's no room for pride. We can't exalt our own selves in this truth, because the Lord hates that, man. Especially if you haven't been in the truth for that long, you see, because the scripture talking about a novice being lifted up with pride. A novice is a individual in the truth that's new, that haven't been in truth for that long. He's still a babe, but yet they're proud because, like apostles always say, they learn 2 or 3 scriptures, and then they just think that they already apostles and elders of Great Millstone and stuff, man. We see that all in Israel all the time, but not to keep rambling on, I just want to start off in the book of 3rd John chapter 1 and verse 9, and it reads, I wrote unto the church, but Diotrephes, who loveth to have the preeminence among them, receiveth us not, man. Now, let's look at that word preeminence. I'm going to look up the Israelites' name to see what it means. Diotrephes, which means nourished by Jove, a proud, arrogant Christian mentioned in 3rd John verse 9. Yeah, so he was proud and arrogant, man. And we looked at that word preeminence. Preeminence means to aspire to be, to preeminence, to desire to be first. So he was exalting himself, And when you look into another translation, we go down to the NIV version. It means, I wrote to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to be first, will not welcome us, man. So Diotrephes, he was very prideful, I'll read again, the 3rd John 1 and 9 says, I wrote unto the church, but Diotrephes, who loveth to have the preeminence among them, receiveth us not, which that was prideful too, to not receive the Apostle John, man. It says, wherefore if I come, I will remember his deeds which he doeth, prating against us with malicious words, and not content therewith. Neither doth he himself receive the brethren, and forbiddeth them that would, and casteth them out of the church, man. So this was a wicked Israelite individual in the faith, man. And you have the same individual that's like this in the faith today, But when I was reading this chapter, it just reminded me of what Yahweh Shai said in Luke. We go to Luke chapter 14. Luke 14 of verse 7. The point is in verse 11 But I just wanted to read the whole parable, which starts in verse 7. And it reads, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, which bidden means to be invited, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying to them, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man that thou be bidden of him. Yeah, so when you go to a wedding, when you're invited to a wedding, you don't take the highest room, you don't take the highest position, lest a more honorable man that also was invited to the wedding, comes and take your spot. As it's going to say, verse 9, and he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room, man. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. Yeah, so when you are invited to a wedding, you take the lowest room. You take the humble route. You don't take the highest position, man, because there are individuals at that wedding that have higher positions than you. You see? And then you don't want to be humble and, be told to take the lowest room after you took the highest room, man, the highest spot position. It says, verse 11, for whosoever exalted himself shall be abased. And that's the thing, man. That applies to this truth. As the scripture say in the book of Sirach, the 3rd chapter, the more greater thou art, the more humble thyself. So the more and more the Lord increases in the faith, the more and more humble we have to be. It says, for whosoever exalted himself shall be made abased. So, yeah, so whoever exalt themselves, exalt their own name, they letting the reverence of man pump their head up, because the scriptures talk about knowledge puff it up, man. And a lot of individuals, once they come in the truth with, being converts, being proselytes, novices, they start to learn 2 or 3 scriptures, and then all of a sudden they think they're better than the men that taught them. In this case will be a lot of men that came up against our apostles, elders, great millstone. The true men that taught them, But that's that spirit, that's of the world, man. Coming to take your spot. And the Lord said, forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. So the Lord's not going to forsake his men that has been laboring in truth for decades, man, for over a novice that been in truth for a year or 2. You see? It says, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. And that's the thing, man. We have to humble ourselves in the sight of the Most High Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And that they will exalt us, which the truth is not about us. It's about Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. But the Lord will exalt his men that's doing that have good fruit, man. You see? So you go to the book of James, chapter 1. So the whole, moral of this lesson is, don't exalt yourself, man, unless you're going to be made a base. We have to humble ourselves in the sight of the Most High. James 1:9, and it reads, let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. Yeah. Because, we are the lowly in this truth. Even amongst us, there's lower brothers that's in the faith too, amongst Israel. You see, so, and remember the Lord, deal with the underdogs, man, the lowly. You see, and you never know, that lowly brother, the one that's lowest, may be the lowest in rank in camp. You never know. He might be the highest. He might have the highest rank in the kingdom. He might have the highest rank amongst the 144,000. You never know. As Elder Yashawama once said, man. So, we all have to be humble in this truth, man. And it's nothing for a Lord to make a poor man rich, as the scriptures say. Applying it to us Israelites. This is James chapter 4 and verse 10. And it reads, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. See, so at the end of the day, we have to humble ourselves, man. Taking the low, not thinking about the truth is about us, acknowledging our faults, and just worshiping and praising Yahweh Shema Shai, just doing the work, man. Not aspiring to have these great titles, chief, captain, elder, which is men of truth that have labored in the truth for some time to get those ranks, man. But at the end of the day, we're not in the truth for that, We're in the truth to praise and worship Yahweh Shema Shai. Like I said, there's order. There are apostles, elders, and leads the camps in the truth. But we can't let those titles, if brothers do have those titles, we can't let those titles get our head to be big, man, to get proud. You see, we have to be humble. I just end off with one last precept, 1 Peter 5 and 6. And it reads, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time. That's right, man. So at the end of the day, we just got to humble ourselves, take the low and just do the work, man, and not worrying about views and, compliments of men, praise of men, we're not supposed to be in the truth because of that, man. We're supposed to be in the truth and to worship Yahweh Shema Shai, do the works so we can, Lord willing, be saved. Because the truth is not about us. It's about Yahweh Shema Shai. So, I can, Lord willing, I can satisfied. And until next time, Shalom.